Welcome to another edition of SAMCAST. I'm Bob Humphrey with my co-host David Trahan, the Executive Director of the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine. And for this episode, we have a couple people who should need no introduction, but I'll do it just the same. Bob Howe, owner and proprietor of Pine Grove Lodge and Cabins, among other things. And you probably recognize this guy, Lanny Benoit. Has a little bit something to do with tracking down deer, maybe. You've heard of him. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Before we get into the thick and dirty of this, where are we, Bob? Why are we here? What's going on?
This is an annual event. It's called the Sportsman's Challenge. And this is to bring kids and sportsmen together to make more sportsmen so these organizations like SAM will flourish. And this is a competition of spin casting, bait casting, axe and knife throwing and shooting, and they get a score and everybody gets a prize, and it's just a nice time. And then we have guys like Lanny and Randy Flannery and Tim Baldeck to come to do seminars to entertain folks, and it's just a nice day out for sportsmen. So we hope that we can get some new sportsmen here today. Sometimes we got to pick them off one at a time, but we'll get some.
Well, I like why you're doing it. You tell us a little bit about the golf course. They seem awfully generous to your organization.
These folks are excellent. They're a very big sponsor for the program. We do a golf event here, and we do this event, and then they all come deer hunting with me the last 3 days of the regular rifle season. They've been part of this for 15 years. So I grew up with all their boys, and they have with my sons also. So they have a nice facility, and they have a great place to eat, and they have singers that come here at night, and it's really, really a family business. And people that come here are all very close. Yeah.
Well, speaking of deer hunting and long time ago type stuff, Lanny, how long have you been deer hunting?
I've been deer hunting probably about 71 years, 71, 72 years.
So you started when you were an infant?
I was born in 46.
Okay,
so I've been hunting for all these years. I started basically hunting when I was 8 years old. I'm going to talk about this it's not really what you should do, but see, I grew up in a different era, different time, different way of life when I grew up in Duxbury. Back in the 40s and 50s, it was totally different than it is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my dad made a paycheck of about $30 a week, if that. He worked for a company there called Derby Ball, and there wasn't much money around. And I remember when I grew up, I got a brand new pair of shoes to go to school with. So when you're talking about hunting, I'm going back to hunting in a minute. So at the end of the summer, my dad came up, and I think I was 8 at the time. I know I was. And I had a single shot 22. And he always gave me 22 shorts to go squirrel hunting with or whatever.
Yeah.
So he gave me a couple long rifles. He put them in my hand, and I said, "Oh, what's that for?" Now you guys are going to be a little surprised at this, but probably not. He said, "I want you to go up to the orchard up there in that back 40. And he said, "I want you to pick out a doe with no fawn. And I want you to shoot her in the head." Because we needed the meat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Had a big family, okay? And I did that. That was the first deer I shot, and I thought I got caught with that too, because a few weeks later I was up there helping them do the last cut on the hay, and he found remnants of the deer carcass, and he looked at me and he says, "Somebody's been poaching deer." And he looked at me and I went, "Oh no, I'm in trouble now." The next words out of his mouth, he goes, "Those morses are doing it again." Yep, they are.
Yeah. So you're a Vermonter,
Yes.
But you spend a lot of time in Maine hunting deer.
I spent a lot of
And
time
you've
in
been doing
Maine.
it for a long time.
Yes.
What? Go back to when you first came to Maine. How much has the landscape, the habitat, and the deer population changed
It's
in the areas
changed a lot. When I first came here, after hunting here for a year or two, came here in '71, right around there. And I was so impressed with hunting here. There was big bucks on about every mountain you could go on. You had all kinds of wilderness that you could walk around in all day long and not have to worry about intrusion. A lot of big bucks. Just to show you, back in the 80s and 70s, my average weight for 7 to 8 years was 239. It's almost impossible to do that now. You probably could, but it'd be very hard to do that. Because back then, most everybody from Maine walked up a logging road and they shot a deer and come back. There's hardly nobody tracking deer back then, and same with Vermont. Hardly nobody was tracking deer. So the age thing of your deer has gone downhill because they've done cutting. It's hard. You can't get lost in Maine anymore. You got a strip of woods that might go a mile. You come to another road. If miles stretching it, really.
Yeah.
So there's roads. So your average age of deer, rather, is about 2.5.
Yep.
For bucks.
Yep.
So if you look at the score sheet when they weigh them in, if you average all them deer, they're all 2.5. Maybe if you're lucky, you might get a 3-year-old. But it takes 4 or 5, 6 years for a deer to be
Get that big.
a decent buck.
Yeah.
That's what's changed. When I first started hunting, there was a bunch of old deer dying of old age.
Yeah.
Now hardly none of them die of old age. There's a few around, but not many.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what's changed.
this goes back
all
probably
logging.
20 years ago now. I talked to Dick
I'm no,
Arsenal.
I'm no authority on this, but
No, you certainly are. That's why you're here. Dick Arsenal, who was president of Mastic, at that time he said that things are changing, it's transitioning. More big bucks are coming from southern Maine, fewer older, really big bucks. We had kind of cut the top off, and it was, like you said, it was a 2.5, 3.5-year-old deer. Instead of 180, it was 140, and instead of 240, it was 199.
well, you used to look at the score sheet at 240, 230, 220, 250, 280. Now you look at the score sheet and it goes to 100. Oh, there's one 200-pounder.
That's right.
You've seen that.
Yes, I have.
Well, let's talk more about the habitat, because
Yeah.
there's a chance that things may be changing for the better.
Yeah. Well, the people that come from what I think is what's left of North Maine woods, from areas where, when I was a kid, before spruce budworm, I got to see what the forest looked like. And I think part of the reason there was so many deer is we had old woods. They could manage through the wintertime. We had, I think at the time, Jerry Levine, our biologist, said 18% of the landscape was deer wintering area. Now it's 3%. So those logging operations, that's what I did for a living for 42 years with a little cable skidder. And I've seen it change dramatically. And it really impacted the North Woods.
Well, here's what happened, too. Maine had a policy back then, you don't cut off no deer yards. Then all of a sudden I noticed they're cutting the deer yards off.
Yes.
They leave a little sketch on there to make it look like they didn't,
Right.
but they cut it off, and that really screwed things up.
It did.
When they did that, that just it killed the deer herd.
Yeah. Well, there is some hope now. Jerry McLaughlin from the Aroostook County Conservation Association, for 20 years, he would come up to me at every event in northern Maine that he saw me at and say, I know you're on the committee, Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Committee. I know you're in the legislature. What can we do about our deer yards? Well, back about 6 years ago, I introduced a bill to have the state stop doing their cooperative agreements, which the landowner would grow their trees to maturity, and anytime they wanted, cut it. Well, that was the deer yard, and there was really no way of protecting it from being cut. That didn't work anymore. So we got a law passed, and it's connected to the antlerless permit that you purchase as a hunter. Now there's a fund in Inland Fisheries and Wildlife where all of the money from that antlerless permit goes into this deer management account, and that can only be used for a couple of purposes: to buy a deer yard and to manage it as a deer yard, and then finally for predator control. That's the only uses of that money. Well, since that fund was established, we've now purchased 10,000 acres of deer yards in mostly Aroostook County, some in the Jackman area and some in the Rangeley area. I know of tens of thousands that are being discussed of what's left of the deer yards, and I believe that's the only way to protect the deer yard. We're an advocacy group. If it's in public ownership, guarantee you that I'll be representing sportsmen saying, we're going to manage this properly. It's going to take a while, but if we can focus all those purchases where they need it the most, I think predator management is the second most important thing. There are a lot of people hunting coyotes and managing on their own to protect the deer herd, and I think it's made a difference.
As in my area.
Yep, it has. They're doing a great job. They're doing it quietly, but they're doing it effectively. Now, one last thing, where I stomped the ground was in the Bingham area, up toward Jackman. And when I was a kid, I can remember saying to my dad, can we go shoot a big buck up in northern Maine? He had two zones. He had a north zone and a south zone. Mm-hmm. When we wanted to go chase a big buck, it was north, not
mm-hmm.
south. And that's changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully we can turn it around. I know those deer yards that we've purchased are being well managed. Every 2 or 3 months, I get an update from the department.
Nice.
We have hope.
I'd like to see it come back like that because I really miss those big, well, I miss the big woods here, even though I'm 80 years old. I miss the big woods. I drive around and there's logging roads going everywhere, and I know that's progress, but...
I think you're going to see the woods changing now. You know, I told you I was in the logging business for 42 years. The reason I'm not is you can't make any money in that business anymore. The price of pulpwood, there's no place to get rid of it. The market is swamped. And without the ability to get rid of pulpwood, they're not going to cut. So they've got to go into a different... I think the next area of policy concern for me is renewable energy.
Well, here's one of the problems too. When they plant some of them woods, there's nothing grows. There's nothing in there.
No, there isn't.
Nothing for a deer.
No.
A chipmunk can barely make it in there.
Yeah. There's a power
It's all
line.
dead wood.
And they spray.
And they spray.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's over.
Yeah.
They're putting a power line into northern Maine for renewable energy. It's out for bid right now. DEP has told me that the amount of solar and wind, first project, 179 wind towers, largest project in Maine by 2. Some of these solar arrays will be 12 to 1,500 acres, one being proposed in Hershey, Maine for 5,000 acres. We have serious concerns about that, and we want it to be done, if we're going to develop it, do it wisely. And I don't think that's happening right now. My concern is that these big landowners are going to realize that there's more money in energy than there is in growing trees. And that's when you'll see your woods getting cut down, fenced in, and turned into solar. That's the next big battle. Mark my words.
Well, let's shift gears slightly a little bit and go back to deer hunting. You said things have changed a lot. It's not the same up there, a lot of roads. But if I'm someone from southern Maine or Pennsylvania or New York, and my goal in life is to go up to northern Maine and kill a deer that weighs 200 pounds or more, short of just throwing a dart at a map, what should I be looking for as a destination?
Not up to Jackman. Not up to Rangeley. Not Tim Pond Road. The best thing to do is the coast. 20 miles in, coast.
That's where the deer are now.
And why do you say that?
That's where all the deer are, and they're big ones too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of big ones. They get a chance to they get a chance to grow up.
Yeah.
Because less hunting pressure?
Less hunting pressure. Everybody I send over next to the coast comes back talking, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what they all tell me.
Yeah, it's true.
Because they were hunting up there, and they call me, boy, you know, there's deer here, but I just go to the coast. And everybody does that, and come back and show me all these pictures.
Yeah,
I hate to say that, but that's what it is.
No, I believe you. It's interesting because another
And again, I'm no authority.
Dick Arsenal anecdote. He said he noticed years ago all these trophy bucks started coming out of Washington County, and he asked these people, and I guess there's a Navy base up in Steuben, and he said these guys would go and knock on doors and ask permission, which the locals don't do, and they were killing these giant bucks.
Yeah.
And then
Augusta, down about Augusta way.
Yeah.
Augusta, Maine, right in that area, just below Augusta.
That golden triangle.
Right in
where
there.
I live.
Boy, there's some big bucks down there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
We own a family lot.
I've seen some
big
pictures
lot.
from down there.
And
Yeah, you
a
get
lot of
pictures
deer.
up north, but
Yeah. Well, it's too bad you say that, because there's just something about northern Maine.
yeah,
I
I
love
agree
to
with
bird hunt there.
I still go hunting up
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and I have a camp up in Lower Enchanted Stream.
See, I don't
One
come
at 6
over here
o'clock.
and hunt. I still hunt up there.
Yeah.
I love that big mountain
There's
area.
just something about it. You
Yeah.
just feel like you're part of something really big.
Yeah.
Sort of the same feeling I get when I'm sitting on the edge of the ocean and you're looking out over it. You feel like there's just something bigger and special there. I'd like to see it come back. I think you're going to. I just don't think the forest products industry, there's enough out there to keep it in forestry. You're going to see it change.
I know when I first came hunting up here, it was incredible.
It
It was. And I hunted Vermont for years, grew up in Vermont, came here hunting. I was just astounded how many big bucks you people had up here in this state.
Yeah. I saw the end of it. I saw the last log drive on the Kennebec River, right by your lodge, when they brought the last boom down. And it's changed a lot since then.
We used to have woods.
Yes, you did. You know,
See, I miss them woods. I went to Ontario hunting for a few years, and it brought back old memories here because you had big woods out there. Get away from people. You could drive in there 20, 30 miles, nobody's around. You could worry about not coming out, going in the woods because it was that big. Maybe my pumpkin will get screwed up and never see people again.
yeah, that was quite a thing for a while. Are people still going out there?
Now it's all done.
All done.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we want to discourage people from going to northern Maine, because there are a few deer. I'm getting reports back now from Aroostook County Conservation Association that they're seeing more pockets of deer, because they're doing a lot of feeding to keep
Can I
them
say,
alive.
I got to
through
tell
the-
you something. First day of deer season last year, I counted 20 some odd deer I saw just riding around.
Yeah,
It's a lot of deer.
yeah. I
So
saw
don't-
13 in North Maine woods. I saw more deer than I did birds.
So don't get discouraged
Yeah.
about hunting in northern Maine. They're just not,
Yeah,
they just don't have adult.
yeah. It's pretty rough going too when you're in the woods. The way that they harvest now is, it's just harder to get through the woods. But it's
If you want to just shoot a deer, there was plenty of bucks to shoot last year
yeah,
Yeah.
in
that's
northern
right.
Maine.
Yeah, that's right.
I passed up 3 of them, so.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite story of a hunt that you'd like to share with us?
I have a lot of favorite stories, and it's really hard to pick out one.
Give us one where things didn't go quite as you had planned, but maybe it turned out okay, or maybe it didn't.
I've had a bunch of those. One of them was back when the woods were really big, and there was a buck that I shot at the year before. I didn't get him, but I drawed some blood. And he was going this way. And I was shooting through a bunch of brush, and I had a 270. I tracked that deer for a while, and a speck of blood every so often. But it didn't even faze him. He was fine. And so I got sidetracked and had to do something else. And so I never really went back after that deer. I only hunted him once. And that was on the Appalachian Trail. In Route 4 coming out of Rangeley. There's a little parking area right there. I parked right there and I hiked in there for about an hour and a half. And I found that big buck track the year before. So I'm curious about it. I said, I wonder if that big buck's still living out there. I'll go out there, and sure enough, the same spot. Here's this great big buck track. I said, I wonder if that's the same deer. Why wouldn't you wonder that?
Sure.
But he was an old buck. I had him aged, and they couldn't even tell how old he was. All his front teeth were gone and all that stuff. So, started tracking that buck. Boy, he was pretty skittish of me, I'll tell you that. And I was pretty quiet, pretty sneaky, but he weren't doing no good. He'd smell me. So we headed back towards Rangeley, And that first lake, that last lake you come when you leave Rangeley, you went all the way from way the heck out there, all the way up to that lake. And he walked on the shoreline. He went up in the woods, turned around, he come back, walked on the shoreline again, went back into where all them camps are. A lot of deer hunters right in back there. That deer worked his way through all them hunters, and nobody got a shot at it. And I keep jumping him out, but I can't get a shot at him. And I said, boy, this guy, he's pretty good here, this buck. He's putting me through the paces. So I'd walk out, the deer would go out there, and he'd come back. I'd go out and look, and there's a hunter over there. Keep following him. This deer worked his way through all them camps and hunters. Now we're going all the way back to the main road, go back past the Appalachian Trail, and I could see the cars going by. Well, I jumped him out again. I can hear him running in the leaves over here because the sun shined that day. The snow had melted a little, and I could hear him go. About 150 yards, he stopped down there on a kind of a skid road. Between him and I, and there we're in a bush in the way, and I just leaned up against the tree and went boom, and I shot him. He weighed 242. Ooh. So here's the whole story. I didn't think I was going to get that deer. I shot him about 4 o'clock in the afternoon because he was so slippery with everybody and myself.
Yeah, he figured it out.
So now I hung this deer up, and this story ain't over with yet. I'm looking in the chest cavity on this side. I'm looking. What's that bunch right there on one of his ribs? Took my knife out and poked at it. There was a bullet in there.
Yeah.
I took it out and it was a 270. I hit him in the ear before, same buck. I hit him in the ear before. Went through all that brush, lodged right there.
Oh yeah.
Lodged against his rib, and it grew a bunch around it.
Yeah.
And I poked it and felt that metal. And I said, "Yeah, that's the same buck."
Wow.
Yeah, they're
amazing.
resilient animals, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I got quite a few stories like that, and I've told that a bunch of times. But
I have to tell you that.
had one deer charge me one time because I pushed him so hard he got all pissed. He won the fight with me, I guess. He was about from here to that tent over there. Come right after me with his head down. I said, "Whoa, he's cranky."
It didn't,
I shot him right there
it
behind.
didn't end well for him.
No, I shot him right there between the two shoulder blades. I cut to one side and he landed right there.
Oh, wow.
I was going, wow, that was close.
The one thing I liked to do when I was a kid was to hunt on snow.
Yeah.
Some of my best memories in the woods were right after a snowstorm, 6 or 8 inches of snow, and get out. You can learn a lot about deer in the snow too.
Yep.
And I shot one of the best deer I've ever taken. It was a snowstorm, and it had warmed up, and all that snow on the trees was coming down. There was a little bit of a breeze. So I figured, I think I'll let all that snow come down, and I'll move when the snow's coming out of the trees. They'll never see me. Sure enough, I walked up on a big, beautiful buck, and I shot that deer.
Yeah. That snow helps you a lot. I've shot some deer.
Oh yeah, but I think you learn a lot about deer and how they travel, how they act.
Freely admit that I'm a stump sitter. You're the wolf and I'm the lion, and I've tried it, and I understand why you say Jackman, because I was west of Jackman, up on the Canadian border, but behind the gate, and we hunted all day the first day. I found a juicy spot, really good. I said, I'm coming back here tomorrow, and I'm going to sit right here. The deer tracks everywhere. So I get back in the dark, hike up in, about a 30-minute hike up in, find my stump, and I'm just about to sit down, and 50 yards away, on comes a flashlight. And I said, you got to be blanking me. And the guy said exactly the same thing to me. And I just said, good luck, have a nice day. And I
Moved on, huh?
Yeah. So Bob, tell us a little bit about I know you're going all over the country, and you're fishing, you're hunting. A little bit about the work that you do, because I know how humble you are. You're not going to talk about the wonderful work that you do, but I'm going to just put a plug in for you. I've known you for a while, and I know you are working with veterans and doing great work. So just tell me a little bit about some of that, the travels that you have.
Well, we travel all over, and it has nothing to do with me. It's just my board. And those are the guys that do allow me to do what I need to do. I have General Tim Corbett on my board, and two full bird colonels on my board, and some really, really nice people that allow me to do this. I am not on the board. I didn't want to be involved in any money. I just tell them, write a referral to what it's going to cost to do something.
Yeah.
And we'll just say, let's just say we're talking about deer, we're going to talk about deer. Well, I'm going to take 3 veterans, policemen, or firemen every week during the deer season. And then I'll tell the board what it's going to cost to do that.
Yep.
And that is to do that at a reduced price.
Yeah.
I just need to pay for Edna to clean their rooms, the girls to do all the stuff, do the cooking,
Yep.
and they come and hunt with the public. But the public don't know that they're there for free.
I
Everybody we do is for free.
Yep.
So they just become part of the party.
Yeah. Sure.
And sometimes I'll have 1, and sometimes I'll have 2, and sometimes I'll say, can I bring my son? Of course you can. We're trying to keep families together here. And they'll come and have an experience, and they might get a deer, they might not. I tell them all they probably ain't gonna, because I don't know if you're good enough to get a deer. I don't know if they can shoot. I don't know if they can walk.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, but you're not really promoting the kill as much as you are the experience. You get a veteran that can benefit from what you do, and I've seen them in action. We have a lot of veterans in our family. We lost a loved one in Iraq, and just getting together with people that understand you, care, and sharing that experience. I think for me, that's what I see you doing. And if they get a deer, it's a benefit. It's a bonus. That's just the cherry on the.
It's not about a deer.
It isn't.
It's never about a deer. Either a paying customer or a veteran. I mean, we hunt deer every day. I'm in the woods. Right now, I'm traveling on a dirt bike, just looking where there's pods of does.
Yeah.
I don't care about bucks. I just need to know where they live. They live in about a mile square.
Sure.
The buck is going to come.
That's
He
right.
might come the first week, the second week, the third week. He might not come to the 4th week. And those other weeks, you're a goober. You don't know what the hell you're doing. And then the last week, you're a superstar.
You're a hero.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But we know these woods. We walk them. And we know what lives there. And I'm going to put you in a position that you have an opportunity to kill this biggest buck of your life. If you do exactly what we say.
Yeah.
Not what you say, because it didn't work.
Yeah.
I'll ask him, did you ever kill a 200-pounder? He goes, I never seen one. I said, well, stop doing what you're doing. Let me do what I do. And
That's right.
some will,
Yeah.
some won't.
Yeah, that's right. But
And I
they
have
still
good-
have a great time, though. I
That's
bet.
all that matters.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all that matters. I said, can you shoot? Well, I sighted this in a couple years ago. It's still right in, I think. No, that ain't what I mean. There's no benches in the woods.
No, that's
You
right.
got to learn to shoot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, speaking of shooting, this is always a big camp stove discussion. What's the best deer rifle? Lanny, what's the best deer rifle for somebody that's going to go out and track on snow? If you could, design it from the stock up,
You got all
what would it look like?
these questions. Well, it would probably look similar to a Remington pump. Well, the reason I say that is because I grew up hunting with a lever action 38-40. Then I went to a bolt action, and I missed a couple of deer with the bolt action because I didn't get him the first shot when he was running, but I didn't have time for the second one by the time you did this. And so then I graduated to a pump gun, and then I started killing a few more deer because I had that second shot quicker. And the nice thing about the pump gun, that Remington pump, you can have it frozen. Tracking deer all day, there's ice all over it. When you pull that trigger, it all flies off and the action still works. And they're pretty bulletproof. Never had it fail me. They're deadly accurate as long as you get the trigger worked on. So a Remington pump,
In what caliber?
it carries good this way, that's important. It's not globby. It's fairly light.
Yeah.
What caliber? There's 3 calibers I kind of like. I like the 270, the 280, and the 30-06. But that's not for everybody, because some people don't like an 06 because it kicks too much. Some people want a bigger gun, so they'll do that. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the 30-06 case in it. So, but that would be.
And what's on it for sights?
If you got good eyesight, it's hard to beat that. Can't remember the name of it. It's about this big around. It's got a little red dot in it.
Yeah.
That's a little better, I think, than a peep sight for the average guy.
Is it just a fiber, or is it one of those battery operated deals?
It's a battery operated deal. You can turn it up or down.
Yeah.
I would recommend to put that on. The peep sight's good for some people, but this thing is pretty deadly. You pick it up, it's right there.
Yeah.
Just put the red dot on them and pull the trigger. That's way better, I think, than a peep sight. I grew up with a peep sight, made a lot of long shots with a peep sight, killed a lot of deer. Shot well with it, but if I was going to start over, I'd probably put that on there.
Do you still get a chance to hunt much?
Yeah.
Do you?
Usually I'm taking somebody, trying to help somebody shoot a nice buck, and friends of mine I'll take and try to find a big buck, try and put them on it, because, you know, I have fun doing that.
Yeah.
And I like to help people shoot it. I've helped a lot of people shoot some big deer, and it makes me feel good.
Sure.
I like your answer on that. I'm in the stage in my life where I was telling Bob earlier, I don't even really care about fishing anymore. I take young people, newbies, same way with hunting, and there's a certain pleasure it brings to you to see that excitement in their eyes when they get their first nice fish, or they get a bird or a deer.
It's like Ontario. When I took people there, I'd tell them, you sit right here. You want to kill a 200-pound buck? You sit there, within 3 days you'll have one. I've done that in Maine here, a few places too. I tell some, you want to sit right here, you'll shoot a deer.
And it's. I know you do a lot of public speaking and mentoring. It's kind of difficult now for me to, when somebody says, "Where should I go?" I can't tell them, but if I see it, I know it. I'm like, this is the spot right here.
That's right.
Have you ever been spent the night in the woods unintentionally?
No, the woods ain't big enough for that. Somebody used to say, what you don't know is, when I started hunting Maine in '71, never had a compass. Somebody said, "Are you afraid of getting lost?" How can I get lost? I'm in Maine. Was it big enough? No. Back I could cover some country, and I could run and walk all day and half the night. So,
I've only spent one long night in the woods dragging a 220-pound buck.
Yeah.
And when you're a little guy like me, you do it in short distances. And I had to drag that thing through a stream and up to my neck in water, and what a time.
See, I was always comfortable in the woods. I was never worried about getting lost. Didn't care.
Yeah.
I go up over a mountain.
I'm right here.
The buck keeps going. That's fine. I'll thumb my way back. I'll get a ride on the way back.
Yeah.
I've ran into some issues having people give me rides back, because that's an hour and a half from here. How did you get here?
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I came through. You got lost, didn't you? I didn't get lost, but I need a ride back. And had one guy accuse me of being, "Who the hell do you think you are, Lanny Benoit?" I said, "I am. I still need a ride back. I still need a ride back."
Oh, that's
The next
wild.
words out of my mouth, "Can I eat beer?"
Well, I know I appreciate you. I've heard a lot about you, and I haven't had a chance really to meet you and talk with you, but I suspect that beer on a porch, we could talk all day long.
Oh, we could.
But I do appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about what you're doing. And
I grew up in the
experience.
woods.
Yeah.
I didn't need a compass.
You know,
I mean, it helps. When you need a compass, I'll tell you when you need a compass. When you're in a snowstorm, a blinding blizzard, and you're way up high on a mountain.
yeah,
It's pretty easy to do this right here.
yeah.
Go on go head back that way, because you're in that bit. your little head don't quite keep up with it.
Yeah, that's right.
So in that case, I don't recommend going without a compass, but you can get messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I got messed up a few times in the fog
Yeah,
and
in the
different
fall.
things, but it makes a difference if you're comfortable in the woods or if you're not.
That's right.
And
People think I'm odd because I like to walk in the woods in the dark. I love it. I could do
That's not the only reason, David.
it. I love to walk in the dark. No. Let's not go there. But there is something about the woods before they wake up in the morning. You can get down in there, you hear the animals moving around. And there's a rush when you're 30 yards from a deer and it jumps up in the pitch dark and runs off. It puts a spook in you. It's just something I like to do.
I kind of grew up in the woods, and we had no ticks back then either.
No, that's right. Oh, we're infested with them now.
We
It
sure
really
are.
does put a black mark on the adventure, doesn't it? When you're covered in
Yeah, I'm preaching to the choir there because I had anaplasmosis and Lyme last year.
Ooh, both of them?
At the same time.
Ooh.
It was
Wow.
like just
Yeah.
like having COVID. Is there a next generation up and coming Benoits? I mean, you guys have a legacy that's lasted multiple generations.
I don't know. It don't look good. I got a son that likes to hunt, but he never has time. And everybody's all one of my brothers passed away. The other one moved to South Carolina. So I'm kind of the last Mohegan. So I don't know where my tent is, but I've been looking for
Well,
it.
that's kind of sad to hear.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Well, like I said, you and your family have left behind quite a legacy and really inspired a lot of other hunters to try and do the same thing and at least maybe follow in your footsteps at a slower, more deliberate pace.
Well, the problem is when I grew up, and I don't mean to talk about myself, but I was on a huge mission to shoot big bucks, and I'll tell you why. I grew up in a family of hunters, fishermen, and from the time I was this big, I kept hearing all these stories about hunting and stuff, so it really did a number on my head for thinking I wanted to, kill a lot of big bucks. And when I was this tall, I used to tell everybody, when I grow up, I'm going to shoot a lot of big bucks. And a lot of people looked at me and said, "It sounds easy, son, but that's probably not going to happen." Oh, it's going to happen. And it did.
And it did.
Yeah. That's funny.
So,
Awesome.
I was on a mission, and I apologize for that. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I couldn't help it.
No?
When I grew up, it wasn't what did it score, what did it weigh.
What did it weigh?
Right,
Because
exactly.
we all hunted for food.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about when I grew up. And I still have that in my head.
Well, I get to see something that probably I will never see again. When I was a kid, I'd say to my dad, he was a bread man for Country Kitchen, and you'd always stand kind of where the sliding door was and go down and help him do his business at where he'd drop his truck off. Well, I would all deer season, I would pester him, "Dad, can I go down to Waterville with you?" Because I wanted to see all those big bucks on top of cars, on their hoods, on their trunk, and big racked bucks. And that was my excitement. Not your handheld phone, not your computers, not your
Yeah.
games. It was checking out the big bucks. And I'll bet, Lanny, one of those vehicles, you were in that vehicle coming back from northern Maine.
Could have. I know we used to pile them up in the back of the El Camino in the truck. It'd be a little pile like that. We had a game warden, I didn't know it, way back in somewhere in the 60s, I guess, assigned to us for the whole 2 weeks in Vermont. I didn't know about that until later. But that's what his job was, to find out what we were doing and how come we're hanging up so many big bucks.
Oh.
So, and I found
Somebody
that
got
out.
jealous.
I found that out later on, but he did say that Lanny can drive awful fast in the morning. And he said they get up early, hunt all day, and they come back. And every once in a while they get a big buck and hang it up.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, they ain't doing nothing wrong, but just shooting big bucks and that's it.
Yep. People were jealous.
But we practiced our own deer management when I grew up. And how we did that was there was a thing with us, no shooting the small bucks. Let them go.
Yeah.
So every year when we hunted Jay Peak and Eden and those places in Newton Valley, we didn't shoot any of the small bucks. We let them slide. So we were practicing deer management, and we didn't even realize it, but we did, because no spike horns, no 4-pointers, and that's why when you look at the pictures, you see everything that's got decent rack on it.
Yeah.
And because we were letting them deer go, and every year we'd have a 200, nice big bucks to shoot.
Well, I was just telling you earlier, this is what we do on our property. We discourage them from shooting the does because of what you said, draws the big bucks in. And I get asked every year, how do you keep shooting big bucks? And the answer to that question is I don't shoot the little ones.
There you go.
There you go.
And that's what's going on in Maine right now. If you go look at we talked about this earlier, you go look at the lineup, 2.5, spike horns, 4-pointers.
Yeah. Yes.
They're all 2.5 years old deer.
Yeah.
Every once in a while they'll shoot a decent buck. It's got 4 points on it, and he could close to be 200 or something, or 180 pounds.
Yeah.
That buck was going to be one of them giant bucks.
Yeah.
And you got to remember this too. I want to tell you this right now. All these deer that got these big racks and humongous weight, them are freak deer. That's not an average deer.
Right.
Your average buck is probably 180 pounds.
Yeah.
Fully grown.
Yeah.
So when you start getting over 200 and you get 250, that's a freak deer. That's not the average. So, and every once in a while they bump that freak deer off when he's a little one, never gets up there.
Yeah.
Well, it's like people. You have some that are like David and some that are like Bob, and Bob's a freak.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
I think so sometime too. I don't know who would want to live this life, but we do.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for being on, and hopefully we get to talk to you again sometime. And
Can we meet for breakfast?
yeah. What are you making?
I had a banana this morning.
Yeah. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
You're more
It's
than
always
welcome.
a pleasure, Bob.
More than welcome.
I'll buy you breakfast in the morning.
All right.
Knowing Bob, he's going to take you up on that.
I never passed up a free meal.
Yep.